Welcome to MILF.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Jennifer.
And we are two moms into literary freedom. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to Moms into Literary Freedom. I'm your host, Courtney, with your other wonderful host, Jennifer. And I know I said that it's Friday, even though it's not really Friday, but it's Friday for whoever listens to this when we release it.
So happy Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. Are you superstitious about Friday the 13th?
No, not at all.
I am, which is really, I don't know why,
Really?
but I'm like, I'm not going to school. I'm not going to work. I don't want to go anywhere on Friday the 13th. I just want to stay home.
I always want to just get a tattoo. You know how
Oh
tattoo artists
yeah.
have good deals? I always
Yeah.
want to do it and then I never do.
Oh, yeah, like flashes. Flashes
Yeah.
used to be affordable, but now they're not. Like,
I'm joking on air. Yeah, they're like $40, I think, starting.
so
Starting.
yeah, starting
And
for
I
like
bet it's
something.
like a
Yeah.
tiny little thing.
Yeah. Well, it's tattoos are definitely one of those things that have gotten, and I know as you can see, I know this, right?
Yes.
Um, I have a lot on just my left arm, but they've gotten so much more they're like prohibitively expensive, I think. And they
Yeah.
didn't used to be that expensive. Maybe it's just because like I don't know, I can't afford shit anymore.
Well,
And gas now too.
yeah. And
Oh,
why is the gas so
look
expensive?
at this service. Look what I just got brought to me.
Hey,
Thank you. I love you.
that's what I'm
Thanks
thinking.
for fixing the internet.
I should have recorded at your house today.
Seriously. He waits on me hand and foot. I don't know. I'm frozen just holding my beer. That's funny. It's okay. You guys can still hear me, and I'm pretty sure no one watches these, so it's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Listen, if you guys watch this, please like tell us. Find a way to tell us that someone watches this.
Well, you can
Otherwise,
leave a comment, right, on the video.
yeah, leave a
There
comment
you go.
on Substack or YouTube is where they are. That's the only two places that these videos live. I guess like clips for social media too. Like that's a good thing to have videos
Yeah,
for.
that's true.
Yeah. But anyway, um, gas is going up, and I just saw somewhere, um, it's just like a prediction, right? It was a reliable
Yeah,
source, but the prediction was like pre-war, which we're in a fucking war,
right.
gas prices aren't going to come back for at least 3 years. And of course, that depends on how long, whatever the fuck it is that the Trump administration and Israel are doing, like whatever they fucking call that, besides just genocide and murder, um, how long that's going to be, I don't know, but this, do you know what the Strait of Hormuz is?
So, no, but I've heard it mentioned a lot since this war began.
Yeah. So let me just preface it with this, like, we live super busy lives. Also, the news is depressing. So like when we get off our shift, the last thing we want to do is doom scroll on how the world is fucking ending, right? So I understand why a lot of people are just like, I don't know anything about anything, you know? But I think part of this podcast is like, hey, we care about books and politics, and there are certain things that you know more about, and there are certain things that I know more about, and there are certain things that you want to doom scroll about, and there's certain things that I don't think
Right.
want is the right word, but I end up doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so I think one of the cool things about this podcast is like we can be that source that, and it's I use source loosely because like I'm not a journalist. I'm not a very like I'm like pretending to be one, I guess. But
We're like a questionable source.
we're very questionable. Yeah, you're gonna
Double check
definitely
your
you're gonna want to triple check everything we say. But no, I think I'm really good at looking for reliable sources. I'll give you
right.
an example. Have you heard that Ghislaine Maxwell. How do you say
Okay.
her name?
Is it a Ghislaine or Gis
Ghislaine?
something? It's a weird
Whatever.
name. Sorry.
The sex trafficker that's in jail. Epstein's girlfriend slash like creepy child like predator partner.
Yeah.
Um, there's a rumor that her dad owns McGraw-Hill. Have you heard that rumor?
McGraw-Hill. What is that? Is that
Oh,
like
you don't even know what McGraw Hill is?
fun? My first thought was Tim McGraw, and I was like, wait, that's not
Oh,
because his
I
wife
love it.
is something Faith Hill, right?
Yeah, his wife is Faith Hill,
So
yeah.
McGraw-Hill, that was where my mind went.
Oh, word connections. That's a fun game. That makes sense. Okay. So no, McGraw Hill is a textbook company. The red box.
Oh, see, you're a teacher, so that makes sense for you. You're more,
You know,
I'm
it's funny that right, it's like why would you know what that is? But like I'm a teacher, so of course I in my brain everyone knows who McGraw Hill
yeah.
is because I'm a teacher. Like that's so stupid of me. But
No,
so
that's not stupid of you. Just it's like common knowledge for you, and for
no,
me, now you make the connection. I'm like, okay, I think that does make sense.
but it's
So,
a good reminder to me too. It's like we live in different worlds, we know different things. You know, it's like we can't be expected to know everything, you know. So
right.
it's just a good reminder. But anyway, there's this rumor that like her dad owned McGraw Hill, and like McGraw Hill is a huge company, and the textbook part of it broke away from like the huge other part of it. And there was like a short period of time where like he invested some money in there, or I don't know, but the ties have since been severed, and he has nothing to do. Excuse me, I just burped into the mic because of my beer that Blake brought
I
me.
didn't hear it.
These mics are great. But anyway, they have nothing to do with each other, but it's just a rumor that keeps circulating, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
Another rumor, go ahead.
it's it would not surprise me. Like, it's crazy. Everything that's happening now has really turned me into a bit of a conspiracy
Hmm.
believer, and I'm like, everything is sus, and I'm like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, but you gotta draw the line somewhere. Like
Yeah.
here's it, like chemtrails. Do you know what the conspiracy theory is with chemtrails? Like the little white trails that jets leave in the sky?
Yeah.
You know
I,
what the
I mean, I
conspiracy?
know that a lot of people complain about them, but I'm not
Why do
100%.
they why do they complain about them? Because they think they're changing the weather.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
They think that the chemtrails cause hurricanes or like free, you know, the freeze we had where all the plants in Palm Coast died.
Yeah.
That was a terrible freeze, by the way. Like it killed all of my plants, and I'm very
Yeah.
upset about it. Although my banana trees are coming back, so I'm happy about that. But people on the Palm Coast message board next door, you know that
Yeah.
next door, they were going crazy about how all the chemtrails caused the freeze.
Oh my
So
God.
that's a conspiracy theory that I just
Yeah.
can't get on board with that. And like the earth is
No.
flat. But
Right.
here's a good one. The US government has spent like $3 trillion since like the 80s on underground towns for the elite wealthy to live in if something goes wrong. That's one I can get behind.
I've heard of that, and I would believe that because, they always look out for themselves.
Right.
That just makes
Hmm.
sense. Yeah. I've heard that. And I've seen a lot of
So,
movies that like also play that up. And
oh,
yeah,
that'd be such a good movie.
I'm pretty sure I've seen, well, what movie was Resident Evil, I think, has something like that, right?
Oh, I don't know. That's like the video game, right?
I think so.
You know, I've always wanted to watch those movies. I've never been into the video game. I was like scared of it when I was a kid because my
Yeah.
friends would play it and I was like, this is scary. I don't know how you guys play it in the dark. And
Right.
the PS3 controllers would vibrate like
Oh,
when you got
yeah.
shot and I would jump every time. Like I was not a video game kid. I just couldn't do
I've
it.
just never been good. Like, I'm not, it's very frustrating for me to play because my brain is thinking, do
Hmm.
these things, and my
Yeah.
hands are not.
I I hate them. And you know, I
Oh,
love that my youngest hates them too.
really?
Um, yeah, she's like, I can't figure this out. I'm like, go draw on a piece of paper. Like she's like, okay. But my son loves playing all the sports games.
Yep.
It's like his bonding time with his dad. I'm like, listen, that's fine. If you guys play sports games for the rest of your lives, I don't care. Were you
Right.
gonna say
Yeah.
something?
It is. Yeah, there's good hand coordination there. I was going to say your mic dropped for a second, so I didn't catch 100% what you said. I
Oh,
think you
damn it.
said your husband and your son bond playing.
Yeah, hopefully my
Okay.
internet connection stays stable. I thought we fixed this by moving the router out of the cabinet. Okay, let me know again if it does something. But
Okay.
But yeah, we can go back to what we're talking about, which was conspiracy theories and how the more shit that goes down in this world, the more likely we are to be like, well, hey, anything's possible, like the Middle East, for example. You know, we grew up in a time where, the Middle East, like we were fed misinformation that like there were weapons of mass destruction and we needed to go in and take care of things and be the world police, right?
Wow.
Which is where the movie World Police came from. Right, that's a movie, World Police.
I don't think I've seen that one.
There's
What
World Police and then there's Idiocracy. I might be like,
I haven't seen that one either. So maybe
okay.
the other one does exist and I'm just not familiar with it.
Um, World Police, yeah, I feel like it is. I would look it up, but my internet sucks. But anyway, the point is, what we're gonna talk about today, if our internet stays with us, is this book called How to Hide an Empire by Daniel
Emmerwahr?
Emmerwahr? Emmerwahr.
Emmerwahr?
Sure.
Okay.
And while it's not an explicitly banned book, I feel like if this were in a history classroom, that history teacher would, someone would come after that history teacher if they were in the state of Florida, Texas, or Oklahoma.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's more in there too. Those are just the top three. Um, so this book, let me just read you some of the quotes. Like the, what's it called when people get praise, like the praise. This
Yeah.
should be required reading for mainstream education, which I loved that quote. I was like, yes, it should. It helps Americans understand America's real role in the world, which is an empire. I did not know, fully understand the term empire until I did a little research on this book. Do you understand the word empire?
I mean, I think I do, but probably not.
Right. I mean, maybe you do. I'm just saying I didn't. Like, I've heard of it. I've heard of like imperialism before with an I and then
Right.
empire. So basically, I wrote it down. An empire, by definition, is a supreme political power over several countries when exercised by a single authority. Did my sound cut out there or just my
No,
video?
your sound was good.
Okay, good. Who does that sound like?
Our supreme leader.
It's, I mean, even it's not even just Trump. Like it's Bush, it was
Yeah.
Clinton, it was Biden, it was
Yeah.
Obama. Like it was all of them. And it's funny because like Bush Jr., not senior, kept saying, we're not an empire. We don't go in and, we go in and we liberate countries. We don't control countries. That's what they want you to think,
Right.
right? But we're going in there with ulterior motives for sure.
Oh, for
But
sure.
we're fed information, that like, oh no, there's weapons of mass destruction. That was the term that was used in the early 2000s. Now
Yeah.
it's just nuclear bombs, right? So, anyway, long story short, this book, it's more of a reference book, but it's funny. It's a funny book.
Is it?
So, yeah, surprisingly. So, it's very humorous. Like and it's entertaining. So, I'll give you an example
Okay.
of how it's entertaining. Let's see. He talks a lot about like pop culture, like the Beatles. For example, did you know that the Beatles would not have, they don't exist or they wouldn't have existed. It's like that movie where the Beatles don't exist. That's a good movie. Have you seen that movie?
Apparently, I don't see enough movies because I don't know.
Blake, well, I feel like we're all over the place with this conversation, but Blake is obsessed with movies. And of course I can't remember names for the life of me. I swear it has nothing to do with the amount of alcohol I consume. Hold on, I have to take a drink.
We're gonna have to have an intervention for Courtney.
I don't remember like the part of
That's a side effect. You're not making it better for your case.
listen, I swear the part of my brain that remembers names doesn't work. And you know what? Fine, alcohol might have something to do with it, but I'm not giving it up. I can't. I just can't.
I can't remember jack shit. So I don't think it's the alcohol. I think we're just getting old.
Well, also ADHD, like the ADHD, the front part of your brain, doesn't have a secretary. I learned this because my friend's a psychologist and she diagnosed me with ADHD, like formally. She formally
Okay.
diagnosed me. She's like, you are extreme ADHD. And yeah. So
She
she's
said
like, you don't
extreme.
extreme, yeah. Um, uh, so like this part of your brain, it doesn't have a secretary, so it's like it doesn't take notes on things. So it's like you don't remember names of movies, but you remember the movie itself,
Okay.
but you don't remember the name of the movie. But anyway, back to the Beatles. So the Beatles wouldn't have existed if not for America, because let me find the name of the base, but there's like this American base that was in Great Britain, and it was one of the largest military bases in Europe at the time, and it was called Burtonwood. Okay. And they at the time it housed 18,000 Americans, and it had like a gym and a dining hall. It was just like a little American town. That's what military
Yeah.
bases are around the world. And that
Right.
contributes to us being an empire. Whenever you hear of us having a military base in another country, that's us exerting our influence and keeping tabs on that
Right.
region of the world, right? Which is why we have military bases in Middle Eastern countries of our allies, right? Like obviously
Right.
we don't have a military base in Iran, um, but when we invaded Iraq, we established a military base in Afghanistan, which I'll get to later.
Okay.
But anyway, the Beatles, became a thing because on this military base of Burtonwood, all these Americans would bring their records. I guess they would just bring them with them, and they sold them at these, record stores. And so people like George, and I think it was George from the Beatles, um, and Ringo Starr, they would, go and listen to these records and be inspired by these American music bands, right? And then they basically the Beatles band is just they're just like a cover band. They would just like rip off song, not rip off, but they would cover songs with their own little style, right? And so George from the Beatles, he went into this record store and he would literally steal American records to listen to and write his mute songs. And then the owner of that record company, his last name is Epstein, but no relation. Maybe there's a relation. I don't fucking know. But I think he's dead now, and I don't think he's an asshole. But anyway, the owner of this record store ended up being their manager, their band manager, even though
Oh,
he stole,
wow.
yeah, even though George stole records from his record store. I thought that
He
was
made his
funny.
money back. He's fine.
Apparently, yeah, but even though he
I mean,
died, kind of,
hey, maybe that's how Epstein came into money.
I don't know. I didn't. I was like, huh, I need to look into this, and then I
Right.
forgot. But anyway, so I thought it was interesting, and that could be just the author's perspective. But I'm pretty sure like there's more evidence that like backs that up. Like America has a huge fucking influence on the whole
Yeah.
world. And when I say America, I mean the United States of America is what because I'm
Right.
trying to say United States more than I say
Yes.
America.
I
Um,
do it still, and I know I shouldn't, but
yeah,
it's
because South America is fucking
yeah.
awesome. And like
It's like
that's a
a
whole
hard
nother
habit
pod.
to break.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother podcast is like the history of South America and how one little country like Spain, who's so small in comparison to that continent, can have
Yeah.
so much influence on an
So
entire
much.
continent. So mind blowing. But
Yep.
anyway, so that's what this book is about. Is like, you can't really see it. Um, hold on, let me you can't really see it because the video is bad, but like you can see it says Alaska, like Guam, Puerto Rico. Um, it says the Bikini Atoll, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but an atoll is a circle of islands,
Okay.
and it's called the Bikini Atoll, and it was in Oceania. More specifically, I think Marshall Islands, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And I'll talk
Okay.
more about that later. But like, Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Alaska. These are all like parts that were not, I mean, Alaska is part of the United States now, but it wasn't before. That America has claimed or taken, right? And is, like I don't know. It's not technically the part of the United States of America, but it is controlled by the
Right.
United States of America. So, but yeah, it was a very entertaining book. I kind of just went through and read the parts about the Middle East because there's a lot of, different parts about different parts of the world.
Right.
But my focus was on the Middle East. So, um, it gives a really interesting history of nuclear weapons, which where the Bikini Atoll comes in. So, have you ever heard of the Bikini Islands?
No.
I don't know why they're called bikini. Like the people that live there were indigenous to Oceania, so I'm pretty sure they didn't wear bikinis. So
Right.
I don't know why it's called that, but it's in, there were about, 40 people living there. But
That's interesting.
somehow, you know, the Americans decided that this was going to be where they were going to test nuclear weapons.
Huh.
And so Henry Kissinger, who was a nuclear weapons expert who built nuclear bombs, said, no one cares about the 90,000 people living in Micronesia. That's what I was trying to remember, not Marshall Islands. Micronesia is a
90,000 people?
90,000 people. Yeah. No one cares about the 90,000 people living in Micronesia. That's
So
what he
he was
said.
an asshole.
Yeah. Oh, total huge asshole. Yeah. So he was like, that's why we're gonna go out there. We're gonna test our nukes out there because they're not close to major cities. We don't care about these people because they're indigenous people. They're not white like us.
Yeah.
We don't care about them. But Japan, Japan did care about these 90,000 people. So uh also let me read page 350. But Japan is famous for what movie that stars a giant lizard?
Oh,
Really?
I know it. I know it.
I'm quizzing you. I know it too. I'm just quizzing
Shit.
you.
It's
Oh
Godzilla.
shoot.
Godzilla.
Yes, Godzilla. Good job. So, I'm going to spend just a few minutes giving you a background story about these islands that the Americans, United States of Americans bombed and Godzilla. Okay. So, these Micronesian islands that the United States had seized at the end of the war had a series of smaller islands, one of which only had 167 inhabitants, and they basically just kicked them out, right? And so on this island, there was a guy named King Judah, and they kind of like tricked him into leaving. Like, what else are you gonna do? There's 167 of you in against the United States, right?
Right.
So they were removed from their home. They were placed on a different island, and within 2 months, their food and water started running out. They asked to return home to Bikini, which I think was the name of the island. Um, and of course, they couldn't because their homeland had become radioactive because the military had tested nuclear bombs there, and they had no intention of stopping. Um, and this was all just to like create weapons of mass destruction that we would
Right.
possibly use, Between 1946 and 1958, the United States detonated 66 more nuclear weapons on or near Bikini in the next door atoll of Eniwetok. Um, One such test at Bikini was a hydrogen bomb, the Bravo shot in 1954. Its 15 megaton yield was twice as large as expected, and unusually strong winds carried the fallout well beyond the cordoned off blast zone. Had it detonated over Washington, D.C., it could have killed 90% of the populations of Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York within 3 days.
Wow.
So during this time, a Japanese tuna fishing boat called the Lucky Dragon was outside of the blast zone and engulfed in the fallout. All 23 members of its crew got radiation poisoning and one died. And I'm sure they all died later. Like, and
It
that just
had like
wasn't,
serious consequences.
got
Health.
cancer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, only one died? Not too big of a deal. Okay, how many of them died 20 years later of lung cancer
Right.
or whatever? Well, some can't, and they were only 20 at the time. Like, what 40-year-old dies?
Right.
It's because you're exposed to this shit.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So Japan, like I was saying, Japan cared that this was happening, obviously because of their fishing boat, but it's close to them.
Right.
So the Japanese government conducted tests of the fallout, something the US government declined to do, and it found alarming levels of radioactivity in seawater as far as 2,000 miles
Wow.
away from Bikini and strong radioactivity in the rain that fell on Japan. Um, the emperor himself began traveling with a Geiger counter, which is one of those things that measures like
Oh, yeah,
radioactivity.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So fishmongers and sushi shopkeepers protested the United States nuclear testing. Women in the Suganami ward of Tokyo circulated a petition to ban atomic and hydrogen bombs entirely. In a month, they collected more than 260,000 signatures, nearly two-thirds of the population of the ward. In a year and a half, 20 million had signed it. So, what does this have to do with Godzilla? Gojira, which was the Japanese name of the movie, is a phenomenally popular film Tanaka and Honda, which were two people who were a part of the petition, made about an ancient dinosaur that was awakened by US hydrogen bomb testing. Gojira first destroys a Japanese fishing boat, a thinly veiled lucky dragon, before attacking and irradiating a bikini-like island called Odo. Gojira, who is said to be emitting high levels of H-bomb radiation, then turns on Tokyo, breathing fire and laying waste to the city. So this is not a subtle film, clearly.
Right.
At the end, I think it says, yeah, at the end of the movie, it says, if nuclear testing continues, then someday, somewhere in the world, another Gojira may appear.
Wow.
Um, so that was the Japanese version. This message got lost in translation. Gojira was remixed for the United States using much of the original footage, but splicing in a white English speaking protagonist played by Raymond Burr. What got cut out was the anti nuclear politics. The Hollywood version contains only two muted references to radiation, and it ends on a much happier note. The menace was gone, the narrator concludes. The world could wake up and live again. The Japanese Gojira was a protest film hammering away the dangers of the US testing in the Pacific, but the English language Godzilla, by contrast, was just another monster flick.
Yeah,
So,
that's wild that nobody really knows about that.
yeah, I had no idea. And this book told me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just kind of to show like how entertaining this book
Right.
actually is. Um, and also to give a little background about nuclear bombs
Right.
and how we I hate saying we. Trump invaded Iran, bombed Iran, right? Killed innocent women, children, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, children at the elementary
From the
school.
school,
Yeah,
all
Pete
girls school.
Pete Hegseth did that. Um, I don't understand how bombing a school is liberating them from their Ayatollah.
Yeah.
And also the Ayatollah was killed, but guess who replaced the Ayatollah? First of all,
Was it his son?
yes, his son.
Okay, that's what I thought I read. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
kind of
I
know stuff.
yes, it's hard I mean, it's hard to like not pick up anything, right?
Right.
So let me go to my notes on the history of Iran. I promise they're very brief, okay? All
And just
right,
to
so
touch, while you do that, hold on, let me just bring something up that so his son took over, right? Same
mhm,
thing. They kidnapped or arrested the president of Venezuela.
yeah,
And then
what's
they
his
put
name again?
in power Maduro.
Sure, that's
And then
how
they
I can say
put
it.
then they put in office or whatever in power,
Hmm.
like his second in command.
Yeah, it doesn't make it's just a thinly veiled excuse. It's not even an excuse. It's just like a lie. It's a
Yeah,
very see-through lie for why he's actually doing what he's doing. What
right,
those fuckers who only care about power and money and oil. And it really does boil down to oil. Because that's
oh,
how,
yeah,
so I was, I was trying to get Blake to explain this to me because he gets frustrated, but I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I don't
right,
understand why even Obama, who is not a saint by any
right,
means, right?
right.
Um, but he's bombed some people or some countries and some civilians have died because of him, right?
Hmm.
But like why are his foreign policies similar to Trump and Bush and Reagan? Why are they all these foreign policies similar? Like all the between Democrats and Republicans, the foreign policies are the same. Like we must go and exert our dominance and our power in places like Venezuela and the
Right.
Middle East, in the name of liberation. I'm sorry, why aren't you doing that in Sudan?
Yeah.
Sudan has is facing one of the biggest, genocides and hunger crises that we've seen, and the majority of people affected there are children. Why aren't we going over there and liberating them? The answer is because they don't have oil, right? And so
Yep.
I asked Blake, I'm like, why is oil so I don't understand? He's like, well, essentially like when you're running for president and you're trying to get all this money and get, you know, um picked by the DNC if you're a Democrat, like you've got to make promises and to like lobby oil lobbyists, right? You have to like
Right.
make, and so when you get elected, you have to make good on these promises because they gave you so much money to
Right.
get to where you are. And I'm like, why can't they just go back on those promises? Psych.
Right. You're already in power. What are they going to do?
That, like I don't get it. So anyway, Iran in the 1940s, the Soviet Union invaded them, and then they withdrew. And by the 1970s, their monarchy collapsed. So they were like a kingdom, essentially, right? And they became a republic. Um, and in 1980, Iraq, which is very close, is borders Iran, they share a border. Iraq invaded, and they had a war for about 8 years. And then around this time, they became the Islamic Republic, right? So they went from a monarchy to a republic, right? But this is a very special republic because it has a president, right? But it also has an Ayatollah, which is the supreme leader, a religious leader, an Islamic leader, right? And that was,
Okay. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, I didn't either until I started reading about it. And so in 1989, they had their first president, but they also had an Ayatollah, who was a repressive authoritarian, who, engages in state-sanctioned violence and human rights abuse. Like he's a piece of shit. Okay, I'm not saying that like we should like he's a good guy and he shouldn't have been killed, but like
Right.
what we're saying we're doing is not what we're actually doing because
Right.
we went in there and killed 200 girls and the Ayatollah just so that he could be replaced with his son, who is
Right.
exactly like him.
Yep.
So in 2009, there were election protests. In 2014, there were women's rights protests and fights against hijab laws, which are the body suits essentially that women are forced to wear, which some women want to wear for religious beliefs, but it should be a choice. Like you
Right.
shouldn't have to wear it if you don't want to wear it. And the human rights violations, I'm not going to go into detail, but like you can imagine, like the violence against women is extreme.
Which
Um,
we have to point out, I think it's important to point out, Christians love to criticize different religions for that and then turn around and do the same shit. So it's the hypocrisy for me on that end.
that
They
is a
are
great point.
constantly doing that shit.
Yeah, sorry, I had to charge my computer. My phone was charging. Now my computer's charging. Um, yeah, say more about that because I actually want to talk about that.
So, I mean, it's the comparisons are very obvious. They have more in common than they don't.
Hmm.
And the extremism we're seeing now is very, very, very similar to what we call, terrorists from Islam or this and that, the same people who criticize Islamic terrorists, not that all Islamic people are terrorists, but I'm
Hmm.
trying to explain that part.
No,
Um,
yeah.
they're the same people who do terroristic shit here, our own homegrown terrorists. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
the same. Cut from the
Okay,
same cloth.
that is a great point. Have you seen, I'm sure this is something you have seen and you're aware of, the military commanders that are saying that they're preparing for the fucking what's the
For the
word?
not the revolution, the apocalypse.
No, there's a special word for it. Look at us. We're we know so much. We're the
It's
best
not the
journalists.
apocalypse?
No, it's something else. Rapture, maybe?
Right.
It's something along the lines of apocalypse and rapture. It's like
It's with an R, right?
Armageddon. Armageddon.
For Armageddon?
I think it's Armageddon. I saved it. Hold on,
No, I don't think Armageddon's in the Bible.
maybe
Is it?
yeah, well, it's like it's something in the Bible. You're
For
right. It
the
is definitely. something.
where everybody goes up to heaven, the rapture.
Rapture, rapture, rapture. Yes, yes. Can you tell we're not religious?
That was so bad.
We're not religious. Also, we both have ADHD and we don't have
Or like
secretaries in our
Armageddon.
brain.
That movie I did see.
I have not seen that movie.
Really? With
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah. I want to see it, but Blake is like not into those kinds of movies. It's annoying. Um, I mean, I maybe you'd watch it. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the rapture. And so they're saying, but it's like it's crazy because they're like, okay, let's go bomb a girls' elementary school, like which is
Right.
devastating. And they're saying, let's set cities on fire. Let's drop bombs so that chemical rain falls for days. And
Right.
it's not just like injuries and death from bomb explosions. It's an inhalation of toxic fumes and no clean water and no
Yeah.
food. It's genocide,
Oh,
it's
and let's call it
systemic.
God's will.
Yeah. Let's
That's
call the
weird.
systemic genocide God's will. How is that not the same level of extremism that the Ayatollah in Iran has been practicing?
Right.
And on another level, um, this is it made me think like Louisiana, of course, Louisiana is fucked up. Um,
Right.
it's so is Florida, but Louisiana is like a different kind of fucked up because they were trying to pass a bill that would lead to the death penalty of a girl who got an abortion.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That did not pass. It didn't go make it through the House or the Senate or something. I don't fucking know which one, but it died. The point is, it died. But the fact that it got so far
Yeah.
is like, how, how is this something we have to worry about? If I'm a mother in Louisiana, and maybe it was Alabama, forgive me. It was one of those southern states. And if you want to know, you can go look it up.
It's one of our cousins, Florida's cousins.
This is what we mean when we say usually we're a questionable source.
Right. We
We're
have
very
the right
questionable.
idea, but some of the facts are off.
A southern state in the United States, okay? Like there you go.
There you
But
go.
anyway, thank God it died. But does it change the fact that that girls and women cannot get the reproductive health care that they need in this country? No, it does not change
Right.
that.
Yeah. No. And they keep attacking women, right? They never hold the men accountable for raping women, for raping children, because we're still waiting for the Epstein files well, they've been released, but for someone to be held accountable for it. And rather than do that, I still do believe that this war has to do with, yes, oil, but also a distraction.
Oh, a
Because
thousand percent.
I just saw something today that said like people discussing the Epstein files on like social media or just in general has gone down 95%.
I saw that
It's,
because it's hard because a fucking school in Iran was just bombed and 187 girls died. Like,
uh,
of course we're gonna talk about that. Like, it's crazy and it's working and
it's
it's
working.
terrible. And
Yeah.
I don't know what we can do about it other than just scream at the top of our lungs on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
And also, did you see that Florida is this bill might hopefully this bill dies because they're I just burped again. They're passing this is why you don't drink in podcasts. They're trying to like push this bill through that would identify individuals as terrorists for being anti-government. And
Right.
that's us.
That's us. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And, funny enough, my cousin has been telling me for a long time. He's like, you're gonna get in trouble for your posts. And I'm like, fuck them. Come get me, right? But
Wait till
really,
wait till they
what
hear my podcast.
right. It shouldn't be that way. Like, we're not extreme with our thoughts. We're just like, we fucking hate what you're doing and we think you're
Mhm,
a piece of shit.
mhm.
And that's our First Amendment right.
And also
And people
nothing,
are so happy to like give that away just to stick it to the libs?
those are bootlickers.
Yes.
Mhm. And it's like everything that we say, we're not like saying death to MAGA. Like we're not saying that.
No.
We're not saying that you should die because of your idiotic beliefs. We're just saying you're an idiot
Exactly. You're a
and
fucking idiot.
you're evil,
Right.
like That's all we're saying. We're not saying we don't think you should die because you're evil and you're an idiot. But if you do happen to die in an accident, we think you're going to go to hell.
Right. And I'm not going to cry about it.
No, yeah, exactly. Anyway, oh man, that was a tangent. Hold on. What were we talking about?
Um, good
Oh,
question.
we're talking about Iran. Okay.
We were,
Oh, we were
yes.
talking about extremism and how and the Ayatollah and how like how we are basically brainwashed into thinking with the public school education system and that history being so Americanized that I don't want to say whitewashed, but I guess whitewashed is a good word.
Yeah.
History being so whitewashed that like we went to the Middle East for the war on terror because they bombed 9/11 and all that and like yes 9/11 was terrible and those people were terrible and they were religious extremists and they're terrorists and they are going to hell too.
Right.
Um but it's like we went that's not the only reason that we went over there and I actually have a history that I guarantee you don't know anything about this
Probably
because
not.
I didn't and I learned it all from this book but the point is like this is stuff that you should be learning in your high school history class when you are being taught about 9/11 but there's no way in hell you would actually learn the real history right but to fast forward a little bit about Iran's history um basically this is the important part. In 2015, there was an Iran nuclear deal between Iran and China, France, Russia, the UK, the United States, and Germany. Okay. So the Iran nuclear deal was basically like, we're not going to make nukes. Okay.
Okay.
2018, when Trump becomes president, uh, oh, he was president in 2016, but in 2018, we withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. In 2019, female oppression hits a whole all-time high in Iran. In 2020, the Hezbollah leader is assassinated, which is an extremist religious group in Iran. And then to now, up until now, there has been continued oppression, murder of women, protests, and civil unrest that have led to the deaths of civilians trying to exercise their free speech, their rights to free speech, which they don't
Right.
have, right? And in 2024, Israel bombed the Iranian embassy in Damascus and killed a political leader, which and then in 2025, Israel bombed nuclear plants in Iran, right? Which
Okay. I thought we
existed.
did that too, right?
Yeah, we did. This is in 2025. So this is
Yeah.
last year,
Okay.
which
Right. And
we didn't hear
supposedly
about.
we eliminated the threat.
Jesus. Oh, my son just scared the shit out of me.
You gotta post that clip.
Maybe, maybe Substack will, because Substack always gives me these little clips at the end. So
Yeah.
maybe it'll remember. All right, you can get your clothes and then you can go. It's fine. He was just coming in here because I'm in his room. Like this podcast studio is in his bedroom. Bye. He
She's
goes,
like,
he, he goes, bye, boo.
he's so funny.
He is funny. Jesus Christ. Okay. Um, so yeah, 2025 I didn't know that because we were dealing with a lot of other shit
Yeah.
last year. We didn't fucking know.
I do
But
remember that. Like I
oh, you
remember they
do?
were like, yes, we
Okay.
bombed it because over the whole damn nuclear threat. And he swore
Threat.
around it was successful and that they had eliminated the threat.
So then
So
what are we
why?
doing now? Yeah. And let me just tell you, there are reliable sources, and I did some research to make sure that these sources were reliable. Like I checked several websites, including Snopes and factcheck.org and like several different websites. And these Trump appointed security officials said the threat was eliminated. So why are we going back in there? Like, I think, according to what I've read, I don't think Iran was ever a nuclear threat.
No, that's my understanding too, that they never really were. And
Mm-hmm.
what they bombed or whatever, like they had this dismantled their facilities already, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not actively trying to make these bombs. Um, and then on top of that, what was bombed, if they did have anything, the
Mm-hmm.
bombs would have taken care of it.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't understand. how we
Yeah.
got. I think it's
Well,
bullshit.
yeah, I don't need, I mean, I think it has to do with Israel and Palestine a little bit. So,
Yeah,
and the Epstein files, right?
yeah,
And so I don't know. I mean, that's all I'll say because I don't really know any more than that. But I do know that like Israel and America, United States of America, I'm just gonna say USA, are
yeah.
like they're more than allies. It's almost like they're relatives. It's like USA is the dad and Israel's the son, and the son
But
gets
like
whatever he wants.
the
Yeah.
spoiled son that just like runs the show.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
gets whatever he wants, gets all the money, bleeds him dry, and the dad's just like, "Yeah, take all my money.
He's such a
Take
good kid.
yeah, take this billions of dollars and, weapons that we could be spending on
Yeah.
solving, hunger and homelessness and, giving free education and healthcare." Like
Healthcare. Yeah.
I don't think people truly understand the amount of money that we give to Israel and what it could do.
Right.
There were
So
so
much.
many social
When I
media
look at a
posts.
map,
Mhm.
Israel's not that big,
Mm-mm.
right? So why are we giving so much money? Like,
Their army, their military is one of the most powerful militaries in the world
yes.
because of how much money we give them. And the bomb that killed 187, I don't know the number, let's just say
I think that's about
200
right.
innocent
It's
girls was made in Colorado by the Mason ball jar factory.
really,
Like the Mason factory in Colorado like
yeah,
made the parts that went into making that bomb. And so they found a piece of the bomb and they took pictures of it. And that's the thing about social media and internet today that wasn't available when we invaded Iraq in
right,
when Bush Jr. was president. There was no TikTok, there was no Instagram that was like, "Hey, look at the bomb that killed 187 schoolgirls." It says
right.
made in Colorado, USA.
That's crazy.
Hmm. So,
That's crazy. And the thing is, too, I remember when we attacked them last year in 2025, seeing a bunch of videos pop up of presidents, so not just Trump, and I'm talking about back decades, 20 years ago.
mhm,
Every president since then has been like, oh yeah, Iran is doing, making nuclear weapons and we have to stop it. They're on the verge of making the weapon. They're on the verge. 20
mhm,
years ago, they've been like saying this shit.
yeah, mhm.
They're
Yeah.
always on the verge and it never happens.
Also, I keep seeing posts on social media about like we spent X amount of years and billions of dollars replacing the Taliban with the Taliban. Like,
But we put them
nothing.
in power, right? Didn't we
Yeah.
put Taliban in
Okay.
power?
So the last thing I'm going to tell you about, and then we'll end the episode, is basically a brief history of the Middle East. Okay. Um, and then there's one other thing I want to talk about with Iran and how Iran is scary because I'm not saying they're the good guys.
Right.
Okay. I think they're fucking pissed off because we're an empire and
Yeah.
we're imperialistic and whatever. They're pissed off, but they're fucking smart. And I feel like or from what I've read, their tactics are a lot smarter than Pete Hegseth's. Okay.
Right.
And they are drawing the United States, weaponry out. So like we're spending like each bomb or highly sophisticated piece of warfare that
Right.
we use is like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're not using the same amount of money. They're
No.
very, very intelligently wasting our resources um
Yeah.
for something bigger. And I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's all that I could glean from just reading about, people's opinions on the matter.
I've heard that too. And they've also been able to penetrate the Iron Dome in Israel, which that's wild, right? Because
Hmm.
Israel's always been protected by this Iron Dome, which I never really understand what an Iron Dome is in the sense,
I
because
don't
I
either.
imagine an Iron Dome and
Hmm.
that's not there. So I
Yeah.
don't know, so a force field around them that just doesn't let bombs through. Don't
I
know
don't
how it
fucking
works.
know.
Very
I
high
don't
tech.
either.
Our money is, I guess, being put to good use over there.
Yeah, exactly. Right? The
Um,
Iron fucking Dome. But did you see the
But
Fox News clip where they pierced the Iron Dome and
that's
Fox
what I'm
News was like,
saying.
we gotta cut to something else.
Yeah, no, we've actually done it.
Hmm.
I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Jennifer herself pierced the Iron Dome.
There's no
Good job,
we here. Hold
Jennifer.
up. They've done it. They've pierced the dome.
Mhm.
Um, and they're I've seen videos, and again, videos are hard to believe because so much AI shit is
Fucking
out there.
AI. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, so it's really hard to tell sometimes what you're watching, if it's true, but also all our news is now also very hard
Skewed.
to believe, be
Hmm.
skewed, thank you, that's a word, because it's basically owned by one person now.
I don't
You
watch
know,
it.
so yeah, it's hard to see what's true. But my understanding is if you leave the US and you see what's being told to other countries, Israel is getting its shit rocked.
So Netanyahu is banned from several European countries. If he enters their airspace, there are orders for his immediate arrest.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah, because he is guilty of several war crimes in several
Yeah.
countries. So, I mean, he's an evil, evil guy.
Why
And
isn't the US going in and kidnapping him?
because we're best friends with them. Even like we're so like AOC is even on the Israel like train. Like Bernie Sanders I think has had gotten off it like a while back, right?
Yeah,
But it's recent. It's only recent that he was sort of like kind of taking a step back, but because he's supposed to be like the most left liberal
right.
socialist Democrat that we have, and he's gonna fucking die soon, which is devastating to me.
Yeah.
He could have been the president for eight
He could
years.
have. We
I
would have been in
cannot get
such a
over
better
that.
place.
He is
Yep.
so smart and he is
Yes.
so old. Like
He's still on it.
yeah, like he's not like all the other boomers that are fucking things up. Anyway,
Not
I
rotting from the
digress.
inside like Trump.
I digress.
Not rotting quick enough.
But no, Israel and America will always be best friends. Like we are to get, there's no way, there's no scenario where we will ever arrest Netanyahu. Like we will never charge him for war crimes because we are complicit in those war crimes.
Yes.
We
100%.
are funding their entire country. They have free healthcare and free education because of us.
That is crazy to me too. Like
No,
how are we funding that for another country
I don't know.
and we don't have it?
I don't
And like I
understand.
get helping. I don't know, it's so annoying. It's so annoying because I don't also want to be like America first, but I mean, in this
Yeah.
case, yes,
Americans,
America
United
first.
States of Americans first. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. You're an
because
American. I'm an American. I want free healthcare.
yes. And I don't want to spend all our money on wars and killing people and
I don't want to
doing
spend
all
any of
this
our money
toxic shit. Yeah,
on
yeah,
killing people.
not
Yeah.
any.
I don't want to spend $0 on killing people. Like we can defend ourselves, but let's not kill people. But
Right,
anyway, I was gonna say I've been talking to Blake about this. I've said this before. Blake is, and I'm not just saying this because he's my husband, but he's very fucking smart. It annoys me how smart he is. And he's a social studies major. Like he taught social studies and English. He was kind of forced to teach English. He hated teaching English, but he's like, like he knows about social studies. Like he understands like foreign policy. Like he understands politics. I don't understand it. I'm just like, why are you guys being so mean? You
right,
know?
right,
But we go on walks every morning, and most of the time I bug him with all my questions. And so I was like, why Israel? We're a Christian nation. Like I don't think we should be a Christian nation, but we are
right.
a Christian nation. Israel's very Jewish. Like they're not Christian. Why? How are our boats tied together? And he's like, well, because they're in the Middle East, and they were created, with Great Britain in the Balfour Agreement, which is a story for another time. But, we needed a place for Jewish people to go after the Holocaust. This is oversimplified, and I'm sorry if I'm
Right,
offending anybody, but we essentially needed a place for the Jewish people to go, the Holy Land, right? And so
right.
Israel, and there were talks of this happening in Brazil, in other parts of South America.
Really?
Yeah, it was Zionism. I
Yeah.
could talk. Zionism is a whole nother topic that we could talk about for hours, but long story
Yeah.
short, it resulted in Israel and, or sorry, in the Middle East, right? And because of the Holy Land and the
Right.
history, right? That's where people first originated. There's so much history in the Middle East because that's where humans evolved. Like that is where the first humans were scientifically, that's where we came from. But anyway, the reason that the United States is so up Israel's butt is because of their geographical, proximity to the Middle East and the mass amounts of oil that is located there.
Right.
And I'm just like, I cannot fathom that because I'm like, why can't we just go to sustainable energy? I know it's not
Right.
that simple. I'm not saying it's simple,
Right.
but it will save lives
Yeah.
and it will create jobs and it will save the environment. It's not simple, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Just why can't we all get along? Like, why?
Or, in
Be
the words of
kind.
Rodney King, why can't we all just get along? That's what my dad
Yes.
used to say when my sister and I would get into fights.
Really?
He would literally say, in the words of Rodney King, why can't we all just get along? And we were like, who's Rodney King?
Who? I can imagine like a 12-year-old going, who?
Yeah. No, we were
I
like 8.
remember Rodney King. Because how old were you? Were you old enough when that happened? I'm older than you.
Let's look it up. Rodney
I
King.
had to be like 8, I think, when that happened. I
You were
vividly remember it happening, like
Rodney Glenn
watching it
King
on the news.
was an African American of police brutality on March 3rd, 1991. He was severely beaten by officers of the Los Angeles Police Department during his arrest by a high-speed pursuit for driving while intoxicated on Interstate 210.
I was 11. So yeah, I definitely remember because I remember being sat in front of the TV and watching like the protests and like cars being like set on fire and the video, right? Because there was like video
Hmm.
that captured them beating him.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I remember that. But
I was 4, so I
yeah,
don't remember it at all.
okay.
But he apparently like he I think I remember he was like a protester, right? Or no?
No, I think the protest broke out after the video was released or like people saw what happened.
Well, so a riot raged in southern LA, California. A man beaten by police after a high-speed chase asked for calm. Oh, so he didn't die. Yeah. Yet at
No,
that
he didn't
point.
die.
On May 1, 1992, Rodney King said, "People, I just want to say, why can't we all get along? Why can't we all get along?" And though, those that are out there thinking, like, oh, well, he got what he deserved. He was drunk and driving. Like, how many white people get caught drunk driving every single day and don't get beaten?
Right. And I think that's the thing that people don't understand that when we're arguing or like protesting what happened, we're not defending the actions of the people, right?
Mm-mm,
We're just saying nothing they did merited that kind of abuse of power.
hmm.
And they just don't seem to get that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, whoever did this or they should have just complied. Okay.
Like George
And
Floyd and his
they should have
counterfeit
just,
$20 bill. I'm
right.
sorry, when are you allowed to get murdered for using a $20 counterfeit bill? Like,
And that's right.
if you rape someone, sure. Like, I won't be upset if you get murdered. But when you're using a $20 counterfeit bill, like, fuck, no. Like, where's your line, man?
Yeah. And here's the thing, even if, and I'm not defending a rapist, like, ew, no, but like, even if someone rapes someone, right? If
There
the
are
officer
laws.
is coming to arrest you or just over a $20 bill, right? Let's
Hmm.
say, let's say someone, I don't want to compare like he was a rapist, nothing to do with George
Hmm.
Floyd, but let's say someone used a counterfeit bill,
Hmm.
but they had raped someone 2 years ago. The
Hmm.
cop that's arresting him for the $20 has
Hmm.
no idea that he has raped someone.
Hmm.
So
Right.
still not justified.
Yeah.
Like, and even if
Right.
like you're glad that that person's not around anymore because he's a
Hmm.
rapist,
Yeah.
the cop still abused power.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, and George Floyd
Was not a
wasn't
rapist, please. I
no, no, no,
feel
I
bad
know.
to make that
But
comparison because now I'm like, did I
no, no,
kind
no. No, you did not. You did not. I'm the one that brought up the rapist. But so George Floyd and Rodney King were not killed well, I don't, let's just stick with the George Floyd analogy. George Floyd was not killed because he used a $20 counterfeit bill. He was killed because he was black.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the difference between, but the thing that bothers me is like, why don't police officers, and it's not just white police officers, like brown, like black and brown police officers can have this like power, be
Yeah.
drunk with power too. I mean, it's more so white police officers. Oh my gosh, your cat just made an
Asshole.
appearance. Wait, what's your cat's name again?
Sucks.
Tux? Oh, okay. All I saw was black, so it's
Yeah.
a Tux. Yeah.
He's
Um,
about to knock.
I tried to get my black cat to be on the podcast today, right before we started. She was like rubbing my feet. Oh my God, what's he doing?
Just knocked over something.
I could
Damn it.
just see, I could just see
I,
Jennifer holding her face. I'm like, is he gonna like spray in your face or something?
I'm like
Like,
trapped in this little space. So I cannot, like, I'm just watching it and I'm like, I can't get up.
do you have to get up or can you leave it?
It's too late. No, it's already fallen.
Okay. All right.
But I was
Anyway,
like slowly watching it tip over. All right, sorry.
that was so funny. Anyway, not that like whatever. We live in such a dark timeline that all we can do is laugh about the shit that we experience on a day-to-day basis. I start my day picking up my phone and reading like the news, which is social media to me because I don't trust the real news. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on today? Like, it is the darkest timeline I could ever imagine. It is so dark.
Yeah.
But to wrap up what we were saying about George Floyd and police is it's like I don't understand why, like using a counterfeit $20 bill or driving while drunk. And I understand driving while drunk could kill people, and that is a huge
Yes.
offense, right? But Rodney King was black and he was beaten because he was black, right?
Right.
I don't understand why these like police officers and people in power can't be as angry about pedophilia,
Yes.
which we are seeing with so much evidence. There is so much evidence that the people in power are rapists and sexual abusers and pedophiles, and nothing is being done about it. And meanwhile, George Floyd was murdered for a $20 counterfeit bill.
And you know
I,
why? Because pedophiles protect pedophiles. And I
yeah.
think at the end of the day, they're willing to protect them because they
Hmm.
have those thoughts too. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, it's right. Yeah, you're right. Because I feel like there's a Venn diagram between like, like the more money and power you have, like the more distorted your reality
Yeah.
is, right? And like the more blurry the line between right and wrong becomes, and like the more likely you are to do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been talking for a long time. Are you good? It's 6:40.
No.
You want to
Which,
go?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't notice the time, so
No, 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 it's okay. We talked about Iran, we talked about everything. I wanted to talk about like the history of the Middle East, but like we can talk about that another time. But we've been
okay.
talking for a long time, so I think we should probably just end it now.
Yeah. And I think we covered a lot, so
Yeah, we covered all the current events, but I really wanted to tell you about like what happened when Bush was president, but I can figure out how a way to weave that in next time.
okay. I do want to hear about that because I mean, Bush wasn't
Hmm.
great. I know
Well,
that.
let's just do a part two. We'll do a
Okay.
part two. So we'll end it here, and then the next time we find time to record, we'll do a part two because I have a
Sounds good.
lot to say about Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. I
There's a
want to
lot
hear
of
it.
history there, yeah, and the Taliban. So anyway, thanks for listening. Don't ban books.
Ban bigots. This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer and Courtney.
You can listen to the Milford Books podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or literally any podcast app you want.
Check out our Milford Books YouTube page. That's MILF, the number 4, books. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky at MILF for Books. Again, that's MILF, the number 4, books. But follow us on TikTok at Moms Into Literary Freedom.